This dictation is 50 words per minute. Please like, subscribe and share. Ready? Mr. Vice Chairman, Sir, I am happy that this discussion is taking place on the question of the problem of arrears, because there is no doubt that if this is the most serious problem that the entire system of administration of justice facing today, then it is the problem of arrears. Evidently, it is on account of these arrears that delays take place in settling the disputes, and if delays take place in settling the disputes, the very purpose of settling them really becomes difficult. If a person has a legal problem and somebody is contraventing his legal rights, unless he can have the redress within a reasonable time, hardly any purpose would be served by providing a procedure for redressal of grievances. I am entirely in agreement with the honorable member who has spoken on this half an hour discussion, highlighting the problem of arrears pending in various courts. Para. Now, sir, I submitted in this house on the last occasion when this matter was being discussed in answer to a question I had pointed out, and still maintain my view that the most important factor which is responsible for these delays in the high courts and of these growing arrears in the high courts is because of not having sufficient judge strength in the various High Courts. Now, sir, I would choose the conference of the Chief Justices, the yardstick which has been uniformly accepted by every authority who has the experience of working in the high courts, is that 650 cases per judge is a proper yardstick to be applied in determining the average. There are some big cases, there are some short cases, and so on. The judges may also sit on benches. Two judges may sit on a bench for hearing a case, but the overall calculation is that the total number of cases that are decided by a high court judge in 1 year results is an average of 650 cases per judge per year are considered as proper and reasonable rate of disposal and of working every year. We know how many cases are being instituted. Of course, there are various factors responsible for the increase in the number of cases I had listed on the last occasion, by which the existing rights and liabilities of the people are being altered, and so on. Full stop. This dictation is 50 words per minute. Please like, subscribe and share. Now I find that other honorable members who do not happen to be lawyers keep on advancing such attractive arguments that we get charmed and we keep on listening, and particularly when those honorable members happen to be lady members and they make such beautiful speeches, then the house goes on and half an hour discussion may become half a month discussion. So what I was saying was, I got these figures worked out, and I found that by applying this yardstick of cases per year, judges, the following is the requirement. We know that in these high courts so many cases were instituted in 1986. Therefore, if you apply the yardstick of 650, what would be the normal strength which would be able to cope with us as many cases which are being instituted every day, as would get disposed of the same day, so that arrears would not go on increasing. In fact, there would be a decrease in the arrears. Then what would be the strength, and what would be the strength when the arrears go on decreasing? I found you need extra strength for all this by working out at 650 cases per judge. Take for instance the Karnataka High Court. The sanctioned strength is 14 permanent and 3 additional. The total sanctioned strength is 17 para, and I find that by applying this yardstick of 650 cases per judge, the numbering of cases which were instituted in the High Court in 1986 would require 33 judges. Whether they are permanent or additional, that does not make any difference, because that is only a matter of approach. Otherwise, they dispose of the same quality of work. So, a strength of 33 judges would be required to keep pace with the institutions every day. If you want to liquidate the arrears, first of all, the strength of 17 must be raised to 33. Moreover, you will have to have some extra strength in other to clear the backlog. It is a question of calculation how many judges you should have for how many years in order to clear the backlog, by which time that the backlog would be cleared. For clearing the backlog, some extra strength would be required, and now it is true that before the Constitution was enacted. Most of the high courts, except some, did not have this very useful writ jurisdiction at that time. Whatever the government did was final, because so many acts were passed with the result, right or wrong. Whatever the government did or said became final. Stop. This dictation is 60 words per minute. Please like, subscribe and share. Ready. In fact, we have seen that many Supreme Court judges who are doing very well have been promoted from the subordinate judiciary. I would like to give some examples. Judge of the Supreme Court was at one time session judge. Another judge started his career as a subordinate judge. Similarly, my friend started his career as a civil judge. There are many such instances. I could even cite the example of another judge who delivered that famous judgment. He was also a district judge and he was a promotee judge in the High Court. Therefore, my point is sufficient efforts should be made to give incentive to subordinate judiciary. The Honorable Law Minister has analyzed the disease and he has found that all these backlogs or arrears are primarily due to the vacancies in the high courts. He has also said that the judge strength is not as much as it should be, and by way of an example, he said about the Karnataka High Court, where the sanctioned strength is 14 plus 3 additional judges. This comes to 17, but their requirement is 33. Similarly, if you work out the requirement of judges in each high court, taking into consideration the quota of disposal fixed by the Chief Justice's Conference, namely 650 per year, we find that the judges' strength in each high court has to be increased every year. This is because the arrears go on mounting up. This is a constant problem. Every year we cannot go on speaking about this. It is necessary that efforts should be made to tackle this problem of arrears, and this can only be done by appointing a suitable number of judges. Para. In this connection, I would like to point out one thing I could not understand. One thing which the Honorable Law Minister said in the course of his answers the other day. He said that proper judges were not appointed. I could not really understand what he meant by the words proper judges. For the appointment of judges, there is a specific provision in the Constitution. Certain minimum qualifications must be there. Firstly, a recommendation is made by the state government in consultation with the Chief Justice of the concerned High Court. Then the appointment is made. All this is known to the Honorable Law Minister. The same procedure has been followed. Therefore, when he made this observation that proper judges were not appointed, I would expect a gentleman like my friend who now occupies the office of the Law Minister not to make such statements which may create confusion in the minds of the people and the House. Stop.